Republican strategist Colin Reed and Democratic strategist Ashwani Jain. Colin, let's start with you. What's next for President Trump and this effort?
Well, it's going to be a 30-day effort, and then there's going to be an opportunity. I mean, I think he's going to have to bring some other stakeholders to the table. It's been interesting to watch Mayor Bowser, as someone who has not always been perhaps as reflexively opposed to all things President Trump as some in her party would like. I noticed this week that the head of the DC Police Union had offered some support for this effort, and at least didn't reflexively oppose it. And then we're going to see. But it's like a lot of things in this Trump presidency. He was elected in big part because he was willing to do things differently than the way it was. And that's what oftentimes these elections are changed versus the status quo. And we're going to see where this goes. I think people all over this district, across all of its wards, are sick and tired of having to worry about walking down the street or looking over their shoulder in the middle of the day, or not being able to walk home from dinner, or hearing these horror stories of people. There's been congressmen carjacked in the Navy Yard, again, in the shadow of the United States Capitol. So now we're trying something new, and I think we're going to have a time period to see how it goes, and then make a decision and go from there.
Ashwani, your response?
Look, it's interesting that my colleague here is talking about this as a trial period when you're talking about authoritarian overreach. And I hope that he's consistent and does the same thing in red states and red cities, and still has that same calmness in terms of let's do a trial period in these red states that actually are increasing in their violent crime and increasing their poverty. Look, if Trump actually wanted to solve crime, regardless of what city or state, he would apply the same rules regardless of who is mayor or who is governor. He would also focus on actual tangible issues, like, for example, decriminalizing possession of scheduled drugs, ending for-profit prison contracts, ending the money bail system, reshifting police budgets to actually invest in more mental health professionals, actually investing in gun violence prevention programs, really specific policies, and not just taking over and insulting and playing this little match that he's doing with all these blue cities and blue leaders just out of retaliation because he doesn't like their politics.
Ashwani, let's stay with you. There's concern that maybe the president will try this in other cities. Is that a concern of yours?
Absolutely. He's even saying that he's going to do this. Again, now looking at the actual data and facts from his own Department of Justice. Look, let's be real. This is part of a long and shameful pattern of federal overreach into black-led cities. Time and time again, when cities led by black mayors push back against conservative narratives, Republicans respond with force and not partnership. We saw it with the Nixon's law and order crackdown. We saw it with Reagan's failed war on drugs. And now we're seeing it with Trump's takeover of D.C. Because let's not forget, D.C. has a black mayor, a predominantly black population, and no voting representation in Congress. If any other American city has its elected leaders overruled and its police force hijacked by the president, even MAGA would call it what it is: authoritarian overreach.